Myself first. I am Garima, the content marketing specialist at Lead Group. We also have with us Rohit, who is the part of the marketing team. We have Deepak Hariharan. Let us take time to introduce him. Again, a very good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. I'm excited to introduce Deepak Hariharan, the Chief Business Officer at Lead Group, who will lead our session on top 5 strategies to boost admissions for your school. Deepak is a seasoned business leader, strategist, entrepreneur, and mentor, bringing over 15 years of cross industry experience to Lead Group. Before his current role, Deepak led growth and scale up efforts at high growth companies like Zomato and Tata 1MG, demonstrating strong business acumen in customer engagement, project delivery, and strategic planning. He is also the founder and former CEO of Mentor Yes, a student mentorship platform, a testament to his deep passion for education. Beyond his corporate and entrepreneurial journey, Deepak is a TEDx speaker and mentor to youth and entrepreneurship networks, including the Center for Entrepreneurship at Ashoka University. He holds an MBA from IIM Calcutta and an engineering degree from NIT Calicut. What truly sets Deepak apart is his ability to translate large scale business growth principles into practical school level strategies. In today's webinar, Deepak will draw on his rich experience in scaling edtech, building school partnerships, and driving demand to offer actionable strategies that school leaders can adopt to attract and retain students. Please join me in welcoming Deepak Hariharan to the webinar. Thank you so much, Deepak, for doing this. And we are really excited to learn from you. And yeah, we shall begin now. The stage is all yours. I will just share my screen.
Sure.
Just give me a moment.
All right. Thank you so much, Garima, and thank you to all the school leaders who have joined this call. I'm really looking forward to the next 45 minutes, 1 hour being very productive for you, and hopefully we can play a role in contributing to your growth as well. Uh, so just setting the quick uh, opening note here, right? I mean, so currently, if I were to look at the country, there are over 5 lakh private schools, right? English medium, regional medium, all put together. Across most cities, towns, villages, there's a lot of competition, right? All of us have schools which are within 100, 200 meters of each other, or at least within the same addressable radius. And competition is intense. There are a lot of schools that are opening time and again, and parents are spoiled for choice. They have a choice of multiple schools, which brings us to the important question for each of us as school leaders to address. Can you go to the next one, please? Right. So there's intense competition, as I said, across anywhere, any city, any town, be it tier one, tier two, tier three cities, villages, everywhere we are seeing competition. So the important question, next please, is why should a parent choose your school? Right. The stronger the answer we have to this question, the better our outcomes are in terms of growth and in terms of admissions. Right. So to address this question, and this is something that is core to our conversation today. So I want to invite each of you, next please, to help us understand what is it that our parents want, right? From our experience interacting with our students and their parents. If you could share, if some of you could share your thoughts on chat here, that'd be very useful. What is it you're seeing parents want? Quality education, good results, special and individual attention for the child, personal attention and limited students in class, multiple growth, absolutely quality education, best marks, something better from other schools, absolute differentiation is critical. Quality education at affordable fees, mutual understanding and coordination, 360-degree development, holistic development, low fees, quality education, overall development, special attention, good result, modern tech education, absolutely. All of this and a lot more. Good care of the child academically, physically, absolutely. Confidence, smart classrooms, bang on. Right? The expectations that parents have is a lot. And in fact, increasingly over time, parents have become more and more busy. And we see that the expectations have started rising, and parents actually look at the school to cater to the wholesome personality of the child. is no longer restricted to just the academics or academic performance. So, in fact, in our learning, we have been working across thousands of schools and taking a very close look at what makes admission tick, right? So, if I were to look at the parent wish list, next, please. Fundamentally, it comes down to three or four common themes, right? I think a lot of the points that all of you shared fall within many of these, and there's some very good points that came on chat. Number one, very fundamentally, is that they want a great future for their child. It's very difficult to articulate what future means. Future is not just marks, it's not just board exam results. And increasingly, board exam results are also not a factor of just memorization or the rote learning that happens. Board exam results are an outcome of a lot of competency based learning that needs to happen now, especially if you're looking at the trend in CBSE, for instance. Till about 4 5 years back, a lot of students could score really good marks by rote learning. But the good part is that it is evolving. This year, we had about 50% of the questions coming competency based, and I wouldn't be surprised next 2 3 years if we move towards a near 100% competency based exam. And board results are not enough to guarantee success. I think all of us have seen in our lives, in our friends, in our family circles, saying the toppers are not necessarily the best, not necessarily those who do the best in their career or in their lives. It is also about the employability. It is also about the confidence, as many of you shared on chat. It is about building the real world skill, visible learning outcomes in terms of the way a child can think, can articulate, can communicate, can collaborate with others, can work in under stressful situations is something that is very, very important. And to have that self-confidence to do well in life. So the skills and the confidence is something that a lot of students, a lot of parents actually expect us to deliver. And for a lot of parents, it's also a matter of pride if the child is studying in a very good school. The school the child goes to is a matter of respect for parents as well. So the expectations of parents are very high in terms of what they want schools to deliver for their wards. Let's get a little deeper into this. Next, please. So, if I were to look at the parent expectations have evolved and are all of us meeting them, the better we meet and exceed these expectations, the better we differentiate ourselves versus other schools and become the best school in our locality for parents to choose. So, getting a little deeper into this. Next, please.
I think, Deepak, it's time for a quick poll. Let's
Sure.
do a vibe check once. I will serve one poll and please all requesting all of you to please interact and share your responses. I have shared the poll. I hope all of you will be able to see the poll on your screen. Yes, we have started getting responses. The question is, when do we need to start working for admissions? The first option is 1 month before the new year starts. Then another option says 3 months before new year starts. Next option says 6 months before new year starts. And the last option says it's an all year round process. Please choose your answers. Let's make this session interactive. And right now we have 67 participants, 69 participants out of 100 plus participants that we have. We have a 65% participation rate. Let's make it 100%, please. We will wait for 5, 7 more seconds and then we'll end the poll. Until then, requesting everyone to please interact, please share their responses. Okay, we have more than 70% participation. I think we'll end this poll now and I'll share the results. Okay, so 59% of people are saying it's an all year round process, Deepak.
Absolutely. I think very glad to see that 59% of the audience has still recognized this and is already working towards this. It's very, very powerful to see. And I'm hoping I'll be able to change the mind of the 11% and 13% who said it's a 1 month or a 3 month cycle. Because I think it's a good work that we do around the year that finally translates into the outcomes. All right. So just getting a little deeper into this, how have parent expectations evolved and how are we doing against that? Right. So can we move ahead in the admissions, please? Yeah. So I think fundamentally, if I look at the way children consume media and the way they are privileged at this point of time, all of us are, in terms of smartphone availability at home, parents having a device, having access to technology. There is also a factor of it in terms of it competing for attention and the way the mind works. The conventional blackboard and chalk and textbooks is not enough. There's a very, very clear need for children to learn in a different way, in a far more engaging way, with multimodal learning, with learning by doing that comes in here. And that's something very visible to parents in terms of how learning happens in the classroom. Number one is in terms of the mode of learning. Secondly, the world has moved a lot in terms of two things. One, the latest trend that's happening, and there's a trend to stay for across the country, across the world, if I were to look at. Personalized learning is becoming very, very critical. And personalized learning is powered by technology or by artificial intelligence, which means every child is able to learn at their level and get the best benefit out of the educational program available at the school. And then world ready skills, as I said, in terms of it's not just about graduating from a school with good marks, but also being ready to take on college and then subsequently take on careers ahead. And the foundational levels that we build now in the first 15 years of the child's life is critical in terms of defining the outcomes for them. And that's something where parent expectations have grown. And if I look at it, not just from the parent expectations, but also the guidelines that are coming in from the authorities, learning needs to be a lot more holistic, integrated, enjoyable, engaging. NEP says that. And similarly, next please. The adoption of technology is necessary to make all this come together. So with time, we've seen that parents have also evolved. We have seen evolution in every single aspect of our lives. The way we consume services and products today has changed across every single segment. And create value to parents. So let's get a little deeper into this. Right. So I think on the theme of what we discussed, what are the 5 steps to boost school admissions? For this, it's a little bit of an interactive session. So I just request if any of you don't have your diary or a pen at hand, please get it along. It'd be really useful for you to keep a pen and paper and to jot down what we're going to talk of as we go forward. Meanwhile, I'm also just taking a pause. If there are any questions while you get your pen and paper together, if there are any couple of questions in the chat, I'll just take a quick look at it. Or I think there's only one question that has come up from Mr. Vijay Singh Rajput, which is what are the most important reasons for low admissions in the school? So, Mr. Rajput, see, there are multiple factors that play a role in admissions. I think if I break it down to its fundamentals, and I'll be talking about it very soon, it is number one, are we creating the right value for the student? Number two, if you're creating the right value for the student, does the world know about it? And is that message getting cascaded to the right audiences? If the world knows about it, are the interested parents coming and visiting your school? And when they come to your school, are they getting impressed and aligned that this is the best school where I want my child to go? Right? The answer to these 4 questions actually defines how successful we are in admissions. Yes, Mangeshwari ma'am, I think it is suitable for most kinds of parents. There will be some nuances that come in different markets that we can talk on as we go forward. So what I'm talking about will apply for 95% of contexts. So we will go through that, and there are some special cases we will take it towards the end. All right. So I hope everybody has their pens and diaries at hand. So without further ado, let's get into the 5 steps. Next, please. So step number 1, a journey of 1,000 steps starts with the right plan. Right? The more we are clear about what is the admission goal for our school and what we need to achieve and by when, the better we'll be able to define what we need to do to make it happen. Right? Being very, very specific about what we need to achieve, how and when is critical. We'll get into that. Second is once we know what our goalpost is to look at what is the values, what is the single one line answer if some parent were to ask you, why should my child join your school? What is the one strong answer, one sentence we can simply say which will actually get the parent interested? In my interactions with many school owners, I think that the constant challenge that I've seen is that we are not able to articulate a value proposition very simply or articulate in a way that really stands out. Most of us end up saying something which would actually apply to under 10 more schools in the vicinity. Right? As you go through the session, I also want you to think through saying, what are we saying about when a parent comes and asks us, why should my child join your school? What are we saying, and is that powerful enough? Or is there something different we need to do? And before we say something different, we have to actually create that value first and then communicate the value. Are we doing enough to create that value? That's an important question for us. We'll talk on that. That's step number 2. Step number 3 is that we go ahead and build the brand all year. It is not a marketing blitz. It is not something that we do sitting, I think, 30 to 60 days before our school starts, where we're going and doing door to door flyering. We have our teachers going visiting parents. We have our hoardings put up and doing a bunch of activities. No. Our reputation is not built on the back of marketing. Marketing increases the spread of how many people you're able to reach, but the message you create is built across the year. The good reputation you create is something that actually translates into outcomes for us. All this brand building means the person has received the message, understands that my school is something that is looking very interesting and I want to go visit at some time. But then when the parent decides that this is the school for me, it is on the back of a school visit. When a parent visits the school, how do you ensure that the parent is fully impressed, understands your value proposition correctly, and experiences it in a way which is very, very meaningful and touching and is unforgettable? We'll talk about how to create that holistic experience today. And very importantly, this is a thing that a lot of us miss out on, which is, are we engaging with our prospective parents often enough and with the right communication channel and right frequency to translate that to an admission? When we get these 5 steps done together, then we have a very, very successful formula for scaling up our school. Right? And as we go forward, I'm hoping that all of you will see how this will work in your context. All right. So number 1, plan and own your outcomes. I'll break this into 3 steps, actually 4 steps. Number 1 is to go ahead and define what your expectation is. Right. Now, the expectation would be on the back of certain infrastructure you have. You might have space in your existing classrooms. A classroom has a capacity of 40. We are running with 25 students. Your expectation is that I want to fill my classroom. Your expectation would be saying, I'm building a new classroom, I need to fill that up. Your expectation is that maybe I'm having a lot of student attrition that I need to solve. If you take a piece of paper, and maybe now is a good time, in a diary, if you can write down, what is the expectation that you have? What are you trying to achieve with admissions? That's a very important starting point. Number 1. Next, please. To introspect, to take a look at how the journey we have had so far. How are the last few years been for us? Have we been growing? Have we been degrowing? What's been working? What's not been working? History is a great teacher. It helps us learn what has happened. And from there, we can go ahead and define the next one, which is building our milestones and the way forward. Right? And once we've made all of this, we'll get to a concrete plan. But to execute this plan, a very important step is that we have a very clearly defined owner within our school who will actually execute this to the T. Without that ownership, it might be yourself personally, it might be a principal, it might be an academic coordinator, or it might be some other senior teacher. But you need one owner who anchors admissions for you. That makes a lot of difference. Otherwise, things get lost in the larger scheme of things. So let's go a little deeper into each of these 4 elements. Number 1, what do you want to be doing 5 years from now? Do you want to be a school that's running 2000 with 2000 students? Do you want to be running multiple branches? Do you want to have a feeder network of schools? Do you want to be acquiring schools? Do you want to be setting up new schools? Once you sit down and think about where do you want to be 5 years from now, is a great starting point. And please do not anchor it basis where you are right now, but anchor it basis what you're thinking of when you started the school and where do you want to be. Once it's defined, and again, please take some time out. It may be part of this call, maybe later. Please lay out where do you want to be in 2030. And once you have that in place, then that's a clear vision and a goal that we have set for ourselves. Take a pause. Then we look at the last 5 years. Next, please. 5 years back, where were we? Were we a single branch school, multi branch school? Which are the grades we were offering? What is the strength that we had? And where are we now? Some of us might have progressed a lot in that we have scaled up our school, we have had a lot of admissions, a lot of growth that has happened. Some of us might have stayed stagnant. We are doing this exact same thing as what we were doing 5 years back. Or some of us may have unfortunately degrown, which means our strength has reduced. Once you look at the last 5 years and think a little deeply, saying, okay, what happened between 2020 and now? Why did it happen? What do I learn from this and what do I do better? Or what do I learn from this and what do I not do? What do I start doing? What do I stop doing? And what do I continue doing? That's a fantastic framework. Start, stop, continue, which helps us define what we need to do. And then very clearly saying from this learning of the last 5 years. And again, it's not about finger pointing, not about reliving challenges, but it's about learning and moving forward. Moving forward to define what do we need to do differently so that we get to where we want to be in 2030. Defining intermediate goals, saying in 2030, let's say I'm taking a vision here. If I am a school that has 800 students and I want to be a 2000 student chain, maybe running across two branches, my goal would be saying in 2030, I will have 2000 students. For this to happen, in the next 2 years, by 2027, I need to open a new branch. Then that gives a very specific action saying, okay, 2 years I need to open new branch. Then comes the decision: do I buy land? Do I use land I have? Do I do something else? And you get a very specific action plan saying between now, year on year, this is what I need to achieve. From 800, I need to get to 1000 this year. Next year, I'll get to 1300, and so on and so forth. For me to get to 800 to 1000, what do I need to do month on month? That becomes the intermediate milestones. And then once you've made this, then you have a paper plan in place. But this paper plan will get executed only when you have a strong person who's leading it and driving it. In many cases, it might be one of you, or it might be somebody you trust from within the school. This point is so important that I actually elaborated on this a little bit more on the next one. Next, please. So one dedicated person, right, who manages on a day-to-day basis how admissions are moving, who works closely with the principal and the school owner, who ensures that the brand building activities, and I'll talk on that in a little bit, but around the year, there are multiple activities that need to happen to ensure that we are constantly visible to prospective parents. These need to be planned out. Every month, there is something new that is happening and calendarized. And be responsible for parent communications, parent engagement. There are a lot of things to be done there. So the remaining 4 steps I'm going to talk about is something which rides a lot on you having that one single owner who will make it happen. Good communication, presentation skills, understanding of parents, very important for this person. So this is something that I would suggest that please dedicate a person from your team who will look after admissions. At least 50% of the time is going on planning for admissions, if that is an important metric for you. And ensure that this person also connects with you at least on a weekly basis. Say every Monday, connects with you in terms of what are the tasks for the week and what is the progress done. This yields tremendous outcome. I think a lot of us end up missing this step often, and this makes a big difference in the way admissions play out. So I urge all of us to have a dedicated owner for admissions in our team. So that's step number one. Plan and own. Step number two is to now create the distinct value. That one single compelling reason why a parent should work with us or why a parent should want their child to study with us. Next, please. So to create value, I think one very, very important thing, as I said earlier, is to create modern learning facilities, modern teaching facilities in your school, right? This means students understand concepts a lot more deeply and know to apply it. It is not memorization. And what really works for a lot of schools is when the learning stimulus comes in multiple ways: visually, learning by seeing, Auditory, which is learning by listening to the teacher or listening to multimedia, and kinesthetically, where you're actually learning by doing things using your own fingers. Right? As the adage goes, what you see has a much higher chance of, of remembering. What you do, you'll never forget. Right? So that's in terms of the way learning happens within the classroom. But what's also important, next please, is that this learning happens not just for certain children, but for everybody. I think what you see in that chart here is something that all of us see day in, day out. We end up very often catering to the averages, the middle two-thirds of the class. The toppers, we are not able to give enough time to because we have to pace ourselves so the whole class catches up. And the bottom performers, we're not able to assist enough as much as we would like. Very important that we are able to address the entire spectrum of students. And that's what I meant by personalized learning earlier in this conversation. Leveraging AI to ensure that we are able to do it, leveraging technology adequately so that we are challenging the higher performers with higher order thinking skills and more challenging questions. So we're keeping them razor sharp. For most of the students in the class, we follow the gradual release of responsibility, which is the I do, we do, you do, or teacher led initially, followed by group activities, followed by individual activities. And for the slower learners, investing in remedials adequately. At the end of the day, every single parent has a feel about where the child is. Right? And if you are a school where every kind of child can be catered to and be powerfully enabled to success, that makes a school really stand out. So think about what are we doing to make that happen. Personalized learning, very, very important here. Next, now that we're creating this value through personalized learning, through multimodal learning, through multiple other ways, multiple kinds of exposure creating to parents, to students, very important that we have created the value, we are showing it to our existing parents and also to our prospective parents. Both are equally important. Your existing parents, the more they see it, the better your brand values, the better your word of mouth is, the more likely they're to refer your school to others. And how is this being made visible to the external audience? Critical. So let's look at this in a little more detail. Next. Right. Now, there's some terminology that looks a little bit like marketing, but I just want to break it down to simple elements. Value, reach, and recall. Value means what are you doing different from anybody else, which you can't get from anywhere else. Reach means how many new people are you able to tell about the value you created. Recall means out of the people you reached, how many of them are able to recall that, hey, this school was doing something fantastic. I want to go visit there and see if it's right for my child. So building brand is about creating the right value, ensuring enough people are hearing of it, and then they recall it, saying, okay, hey, this is a name that's etched in my mind. Next year, when I want admission for my child, this is where I want to go to. Value is about creating the clear value differentiation, the way your teaching and learning happens in the school, the way you imbibe life skills, communication, clarity of thinking, confidence, making it holistic, multimodal, kinesthetic learning by doing, bring in technology and modern curriculum within your classroom. That creates a distinction because without a clear distinction, it is very difficult. The rest of it is all marketing gimmicks. Creating that value is super critical first. Once you've done that, is when now we are ready to take the message to the world, which is where reach comes in. Now, as I said, if you were to do all your marketing at the same time that 10 other schools in your locality are doing, that means there's one hoarding of your school, one hoarding of another school, one hoarding of a third school at the same time competing for people's attention. Along with the newspaper in the morning, they get three flyers of three different schools. You're competing with others. Right? Peak admission season is not the time when you want to reach people. Of course, you will still have to do some amount of marketing, but the best time is when you're doing it around the year. Use digital channels like WhatsApp very, very powerfully and use your parents and teachers. They are all of them are very well connected in the community, typically living in the same spaces where your prospective parents are coming from. Using that network actively will actually help you improve your reach more. Right? And building recall. Recall means creating that engagement plan, which is through the year, sitting in November end, what are you going to do in December? What are you going to do in Jan? What are you going to do in Feb? What are you going to do in March? And the what you're going to do is to create those forums of engagement where parents are seeing value. For example, it could be a summer camp where you invite students outside of your school too. It could be a student led conference where your students are actually demonstrating what they've learned in the class. It could be a project that they've done, or it could be even them running a classroom for their own parents. And in fact, what I encourage is if you're doing a student led conference in your second term, please do invite, please do get your students to invite their neighbors or your parents to invite their friends also to your student led conference. That's a powerful way to get new footfalls. Running contests and events in your school could be painting, could be debate, quiz, etc., where you invite all the students from the community to come in. For example, if you have a painting contest, why not invite students from other schools also to come in on a Sunday and make it a painting contest that's open to all? And when the footfall comes in, when the students are coming in, they come along with their parents. And that's a great opportunity for you to showcase your school to them. Create that reason for a parent to come to your school. That helps you translate that recall into an action and an outcome. So just as a sample, next up, please. Just a sample looking at a calendar. Let's say, for example, if I'm November, we are already at the end of November, so not counting this month. But within the month of December, if you go plan your event calendar and you say in January, I will do a student-led event which is open for public. Or even better, there's a concept of student-led event that can actually happen in communities, which is where instead of an event happening at your school, you take some of your students, as you can see in the bottom photo, the bottom right photo, where students actually go to the community with a larger message. It could be like, for example, a movement against plastic. It could be against pollution if you're in North India. It could be on a bunch of other topics. It can also be very, very engaging and interactive in terms of how we do this along with parents, because then parents start saying that, okay, students from the school seem to be doing something different. This is not marketing. This is great exposure for the student as well. And great exposure for a parent to how learning and teaching happens in your school and how your school also helping students build confidence instead of just academic knowledge. So a bunch of activities, and there are some suggested activities showing here, but you can actually go ahead and plan your calendar the way it works for your school. And as you plan this calendar, if you are an existing part of the lead group family using lead or Pinnacle Plus or Propel, your academic advisor or your academic coach can also help you in terms of building this calendar ahead. Right? So that's in terms of building brand and how do we take it there. Now, one very, very important thing as you do this, next please, is that during this entire engagement, it's a very, very powerful moment for both the student and the parent to actually participate in some of these events that are happening here. Like you can see, these are probably senior KG or grade one students who are doing an event. Right? As you're doing this, the parents actually swell with pride when they actually see the way it is happening, and the students also feel very happy at the end of this event. So do ensure that during this, as you're doing these events, please capture parent testimonials, student videos, etc. This will come in very, very importantly as you go forward in social media or for brand building when you get a little closer to the admission season. All right. So that's about step number 3. Step number 4, let's get in. Next, please. You can open up all the animations. I think something's delayed here. All right. So step number 4 was after you built the brand, when you get the parent to come to your school, what do you do differently so that they leave back with a memory saying this school is unique as compared to anything else? Next. So when parents come in, ensure that you're using that opportunity to create a curated experience. And this curated experience doesn't happen randomly. Many times we find parents land up, and then depending on who's the teacher available or who is the person available at the reception, somebody does a quick tour of the school. But every tour or every engagement with the parent has to be a curated experience. What that means is have a defined path for how a school tour will work. Have defined dates. You can invite parents to come on a specific date if you'd like. And showcase not just the infrastructure of the school, but also showcase the running classroom. For example, if you're doing any kind of audiovisual learning, if you have a robotics lab, for instance, right? Or if you're doing something, let's say a foundation program for entrance exams, use that opportunity to showcase it powerfully by getting them to experience the classroom, be it for 5 minutes, get the parent to sit in the classroom. It is a transformative experience. Showcase, of course, all the infrastructure that you have, be it in terms of your audiovisual learning systems, in terms of IFPs if you're using it, the kind of labs you have, libraries you have, and also very importantly, and this is where when you're creating an event, it's not for a random footfall, but it is when you create an event where parents are coming in, engage them as students in a class. Showcase to them how learning happens in your classroom by some teachers running a sample class or getting some students to run a sample class. And especially if you're using an audiovisual learning system or some distinct learning practice which is different from other schools, you have to showcase it here. And that's a great way to communicate it rather than just giving them a flyer or a brochure. Experiencing the school far more important than printed material. And I think that's the change that is important to deliver here. And as you're doing this, very, very important, please maintain a very clean parent database. This is a responsibility of the admissions coordinator because as we go forward, we will keep engaging with them. We will keep inviting them for different events and different forums. Okay, so building that parent database is critical here. So that's step number 4, which is in terms of you got the footfalls and you got the interest, you got the parent database of students or parents who are interested. What next? We move to step number 5. Right. And before we move to step
Let's,
5, I think a quick poll. Garima, if you
yes,
want to.
I'll just serve the poll.
So, quick poll just to understand how you engage with your parents currently and how do you prefer to run it. There's a few questions there. Please feel free to tap on your preferred choice.
I've served the poll and we have started getting answers as well. The question is, how would you prefer to engage parents? The first option is run contests. Second is school tours. Third is visual, auditory, kinesthetic experience. And last one is all of the above. Please requesting everyone to please participate and make this an interactive session. We have already started getting responses. 50% people have already participated. Waiting for the rest 50% to participate. We'll run the poll for 10 more seconds and then we'll end. We have more than 70% participants. Should I end the poll, Deepak, or should we wait?
I think sounds good. I think that'll be a good representation.
Okay, sharing the results now. So more than 78% are saying all of the above. So run contests, school tours, visual, auditory, kinesthetic experience, everything. More than 78% people believe in that.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you for sharing that, Garima. So, very glad to see that a lot of you believe in this, and I'm hoping most of you are already using some of these methods actively in your schools. Right. And if there's some questions, I'll take it up in the next few minutes. All right. So, just quickly moving forward, the step number 5 is in terms of engaging. Right. So, keeping a very open communication channel with the parents before the visit, especially when they've registered the interest, during the visit, and after the visit. Not being very pushy, not calling them every day saying, I'm coming for admissions, but keeping them informed about how things are moving in the school. So let's get a little deeper into this. Next. So I think 3 things which work here. One is inviting parents to events. Especially, I think we'll have to curate some of these events with very strong reasons why a parent should come. The strong reason why a parent would come is if their student is participating, if it's an existing parent. Uh, get the parent to come and get the parent to invite other friends and family as part of it. Create certain forums. Like, for example, I could see one question saying, how do we get parents to come in? For example, if you're looking at a significant number of admissions to happen, let's say, for example, if you are looking at 100 plus admissions to happen in your school, one good way is to create a scholarship test or a proficiency test of sorts for students and invite them for that. Now, how do you create that footfall here? One way is to offer scholarships. For example, if you were to offer scholarship for 100% scholarship for one student, the best scoring student in your proficiency test, and you were to offer 50% off for next two students, right? All you're doing is effectively 100% for one student and 50% for two students. Effectively, two students worth of fees you're waiving off. But given that scholarship comes in, and you will actually find that a lot of parents come in with their talented students for this test. Because if it works out, it is economic saving for them. And for you, it is a cost of two students' fees that you're giving, but you're able to attract a lot of talented students, high caliber students to your school. And this has worked out well in many contexts that we have seen. So something that you could explore in terms of setting up a scholarship test or proficiency test as a very strong carrot to come for events over and above everything else that you do in terms of student-led events. Second, a parent referral program. A lot of parents would be happy. Like for example, you might be very happy with certain services that you're using right now. With I mean, if you were to put yourself in the shoes of a parent, and the parent is very happy with the child, very happy with the way progress happens in school, but intuitively the parent doesn't have a trigger to go and tell the world saying, "Hey, this school is very good. Let's do it." But if you create that forum where you're creating a parent referral program that encourages parents to actually proactively engage, they might have it in their mind. If somebody were to ask them for feedback, they'll give glowing feedback for a school. But they may not be proactively reaching out to other parents and telling that this is a good place to come to. So if we create that forum for it, create an event around it, create a referral program around it, that's something that yields a lot of outcome. And of course, our teachers are very, very highly motivated. And but incentivizing them a little bit on getting in admissions is a great way to do it, because when a teacher goes and says, it's very, very impactful when they communicate with parents. So three powerful ways to engage. I'm sure there's a lot more that many of you might be doing in your schools. Happy to hear some of that in the comments. Next, please. So I just want to bring this entire session together, right? Number one, we talked about was setting our goals. Setting a goal about where we want to be in 2030, breaking it down by year, saying for getting there in 2030, 2029, I need to be here, 28, 27, 26, these are my goals. For me to achieve my 26th goal, which is next year, April and June admissions, what do I need to do between now and then? Month on month plan there. Number one. Number two, creating the value that truly stands out is about bringing in the right value proposition in your school and then telling the world about it. Right? Creating modern technology based teaching systems in your school, ensuring that the children are getting the right exposure, and then bring it to the world saying, this is what I'm doing is important. Once you've created that right value, then showcasing it to the world through branding, having that curated experience for a parent when they visit your school and translating that into a very high intent of admission, and then engaging around the year, WhatsApp, calls, social media, multiple ways in which this can happen. When all these five elements come together and you have a defined owner who's helping drive it, that immediately starts translating to outcomes. Right? So that's the 5 point process that I wanted to share. Before we proceed further, I just want to take a pause and take a look at any questions that have come in. I'd request the audience, if there are any questions that you have, please feel free to put it on chat or put it in the Q&A box. So I'm just taking a look at some of the questions that have come up so far.
Yes, we have some questions. One question is from Vijay, who is asking, what are the most important reasons for low admissions in school?
Correct. So I think, Vijayji, I think I'd addressed that at the start, which was with regard to where the school, where the parent does not see something different about the school as compared to any other school. If the parent doesn't see a difference, then they would go for the lowest fee option that will actually meet their needs. Right? So not having distinction impacts us. Second, at the exact counter of that, if I were to look at, if there is a newer school nearby, or there is some school that is creating a lot of distinct value which we are not able to create, that also takes away admissions and we have student attrition happening as a consequence. Second is when you are not able to create enough pull, not able to get enough parents interested in your school, right? Which is what we're talking about in terms of the branding side of it. And then third, if you're able to create the interest, but when people come, they're not impressed with the school at the end of it, that is a challenge. And fourth is that we assume that parents have come, seen the school once, they will automatically sign up. It doesn't necessarily happen that way. We have to have a strong engagement. So any of these, if they are missing, becomes a challenge in terms of being able to cater to it. And especially the part regarding value is a mix of multiple things. It is a mix of your current reputation so far, the infrastructure that you have, and the way you're servicing and enabling learning in the school.
Thank you so much, Deepak, for answering that. We have one more question from Sheikh Parveen. They are asking how to answer this question, why to join your school?
So Sheikh Pravinji, I think this is an answer that will have to come from your side. And it is like we say, every single student is unique, every child is unique, the same way every school is unique, right? So basis your context, basis your strengths and challenges, basis the requirements of your school community. I think you'll need to take a look at very deeply what is it that is right for your school. There is no one size fits all answer in terms of what that value should be. So what I request is please take some time and think through it in detail, saying if, and one easy way to do this, sir, just to share, is put yourself in the shoes of a parent, right? And within your vicinity, think of which are the top 5 schools where parents go or students go, and which is the school that you want to emulate. Think about what is it that if that parent were to go and ask that school, let's say for example, I'm just putting a name there, let's say there's an Oxford school which is there, which is doing very, very well in terms of student strength. What if a parent goes to Oxford and asks them, why should I get my child to join there? What would Oxford say? If there is another school, the next second best school in your community, if a parent were to go and ask them, what would they say? Once you start thinking about it in terms of what would the top 5 schools say, and what the top 5 schools are saying is the reason why the parents are going to those schools. Do you meet any of those reasons? If you do, are you saying that out or not? If you don't do, how do you build that capability? And you don't have to mimic what the top 5 schools are doing, but you might want to create something unique to yourself. Now, I think there's no single answer to it, but there's a method to arrive at that answer. I hope that's useful, Sheikh Praveenji.
Thank you, Deepak, once again for answering that. I think that would be really helpful. One more question we have is how to develop existing parent faith in school.
That's a very important question, right? So I would presume that when I'm not sure who's asked this question, but when this question was asked, there are some challenges you're facing in terms of engaging with your parents today, right? If I were to, the way to answer it is through a diagnostic about what exactly is the challenge first, right? And the situation can be different for different schools. So I don't have a open generic answer to give here, but think of it like if you were a doctor, if someone comes and says I have fever, there would be 3 or 4 follow-up questions you would ask. Since when have you had the fever? Did you change something in your eating pattern, your sleeping pattern? Did you travel somewhere which is leading to this issue? Same way, if you're facing a trust issue with parents, I think what is very important is to understand and diagnose why are you facing this issue. Without that, there can't be a medicine for it. Right? And the way to diagnose this, there are 2 steps to it. One step is self-introspection, where you sit with your principal, your academic coordinators, your teachers, whoever's facing parents, and try and understand, okay, I'm getting the sense that we are facing trust issues with parents. Why do you think it's happening? Don't get into solutioning, but understand the root cause of it. If need be, the next step that I would suggest, personally talk to 5 or 6 of the parents to understand, are you happy with the school? If you're not happy, what do you want to change? Sometimes parents will say superficially, I'm happy, I'm very happy. But then if you ask them a question saying, what do you want us to change to make it better for your child? Then people have a sharper answer there. So once you know the diagnostic about why is it that the parent is not happy with you or not trusting you, then the solve will automatically come. But understand the diagnostic is very important. Without the diagnosis, solution will be just like a shot in the dark.
Thank you so much, Deepak, for answering these questions. We are short of time, so if you have any other questions, please take up the survey. There is a question which says, there is a section which says you can add up your questions, and I will forward that sheet to Deepak, and he will be answering the questions. Sorry. Now I think, yeah. So
It's okay.
thank you so much, Deepak, for such an insightful session. I think if we follow these steps, definitely we'll see some good growth in admissions next year.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And thank you so much, everyone. I'm sorry I'm a little short on time, but see, given I know there are still a bunch of questions that are unanswered, so I just request if you can reach out to your lead representative. So if you are an existing school, you can reach out to your academic advisor or your academic coach, and they'll be able to help you further with a very, very specific assistance for your school. For existing schools, you'll also have your academic advisor and coach reaching out to you over the course of December and January to help plan out your admission plan and to deliver on each of these five elements. If you are a new school, please reach out to the area manager you're in touch with, and they can help you in terms of building the right engagement plan or the right admission plan for your school. Right? And beyond that, if there are any questions, please do leave it on chat, and I'll try and address them at a later point.
Thank you so much, Deepak. Thanks a lot for such an
I'm
insightful
sure.
session. I would like to invite Beena, who is the Associate Director, Academic Expert. She will make us understand how Lead Group can help you transform your school in a better manner.
Thank you,
Uh,
Garima.
Thank you so much, Beena.
All right. So hi everybody again. Good evening. Garima, if you can start with the slides. Okay. So how, as an organization, Lead can help you as a brand? Now, for the schools which are already associated with us, for the active schools, you have our academic coach who will be collaborating with you in December, and they will be able to take you through your admission plans and actions. And for the schools which are new, you can reach us out on this number, which is flashing on the screen, which is 7669071060. Yes. So LEAD is located across 400 plus cities with 8,500 plus satisfied schools with 3.8 million engaged students. And we have 60,000 happy teachers. Now, LEAD is one of the fastest edtech growing organizations, and we have different products, which is LEAD, Pinnacle, and Propel, based on the requirements of the school. So these are requirements when you come up with us, we will go ahead and suggest these programs. Now, what will we do to build your school? We will be helping you plan better. We will be able to create value better, and we will be helping you build a brand in your locality. And we will be giving a whole lot of a new experience as a school to your community. And we will also help you with engaging with your parents better. Yes. So we will be taking the questions at the end. So just hold on with your questions. So we also have these learning systems. Now, these learning systems are very, very personalized to your schools, where we will be going ahead with the world-class books of Lead and Pearson. It is a whole lot of curriculum collaborated together for the need of the school. We also would be giving you the audio-visual learning systems with televisions and tabs for the teachers, right? We also give the teaching and learning materials for the schools so that they can go through with the student activities. So all these comes with a whole learning systems, and this is personalized to your schools. Thank you, Garima. So we have an unmatched curriculum with unique subject program, which is robotics, coding, and foundations. And we have also an application for the students where the child uses this application to go ahead and do the homework, or it can be a gamified learning, any of these. So the child will have a different experience of using this application. Now, you also saw that through the entire session, we will understanding about student-led conferences and how this will actually help your school grow better. So you will have assistance from us to do this for different events, which can be student-led conferences or a pan-India event where the children can participate and become a part of this entire thing so that the child's confidence also is growing up. At the same time, we're also looking at ensuring that the school is building its value in terms of as a brand. Garima, next. So we're also going to be helping your teachers. Now, we are equipping the teachers with a complete lesson plan, which is built in the tab. And we have a self-paced teachers learning program, which is called as the Lead Group Academy. And in this Lead Group Academy, the teacher chooses to certify at different courses, which is 40 plus courses available on this tab. And they also get a certification at the end of this course. Apart from this, they also exposed to the in-person training sessions that we provide them. And all this is there for the teachers, which helps them become really great at doing what they're doing. Now, apart from this, for the management, we have a complete ERP. Now, this ERP ensures that the students and teachers' performance are monitored, or you can have a complete, what do I say, a see-through of what the teacher is doing in the classes, the teacher, as in also the students, how they will be going ahead and ensuring what is their performance, what is the category of learning that they are in. Are they the high group or if they're the lower order learning group? Everything is visible on this ERP. You also have something which is called as the Jasper, which is the digital assessments where the teacher goes ahead and makes the question paper for the students. Just at a click of 3 clicks, the entire assessments can be planned. These real-time insights on students' performance for parents is very, very useful. When you sit in front of the parent, you'll be able to get the complete overview of the teacher and the student. So all in all, this is a complete ERP solution at your end. So this is something that Lead offers to you. Over to you, Garima.
Thank you so much, Beena, for introducing the audience to the offerings from Lead Group. I would like to thank everyone for joining the webinar and thank you for being there. I hope the session was insightful. Just again mentioning once again that you will be getting the ebook, the complimentary ebook, the recording of the webinar, the certificate of participation, the survey link, all in all in an email. So keep a checkout in your inboxes and you will receive the email in a couple of days. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining the webinar. Thank you.